Hey everybody, I'm out here tonight. I'm getting prepared to do some services on my Spyder, my 2012 Spyder RSS, Can Am of course, made by BRP. Basically what's happening is my rear brake is wearing out through my own lack of paying attention, that kind of stuff, but also by design flaw. The Can Am is incredibly prone to leaving your rear parking brake engaged, and I've done that like 3 times this year. I'd also done it on the pad before, or the set of pads before, so I've committed pretty much what I consider to be significant enough damage to look into replacing the rotor tube. So I'm currently on the market for that stuff. I think that may be the problem. This time around I'm hearing some jingling in the drivetrain, and I've got to be able to get it up and run it to where I can hear it and track it down and find it. We'll be checking belt tension, so on and so forth, and going from there. But the purpose of my talk tonight is I read this a lot in the forums lately. You have newer riders, so on and so forth, new owners, proud owners, people that are wanting high performance, so on and so forth. And I hear a lot about 93 octane and running high octane. So I want to point out one thing. Now, if you go into your Can Am, and I'm going to do it right now, and I don't keep the clip on this on the shock for a reason. The Can Am, you frequently need to go in and work on the battery and the brakes and so on and so forth, so I go through that hassle when you can just lift it up and out of the way. The reason why I did that lift up and out of the way is because I want to point out a couple different things. Back here under the seat, you're going to see that they, especially on the older models, that they not only describe your vacuum and hose routing, they'll just show you where your fuel tank is and where your purge control solenoid valve is, all sorts of stuff that's related to that. But they also discuss what you should be using in terms of your fuel. So, and I'm going to read through the data plate here. Now it gives you the data that it's 99.76 cc's. You got the engine family, I'm not going to go into that, the permutation family of the engine, the evap cycle for that, and the exhaust emissions control system, including its specifications, plus the idle speed, rated at stock at 1400 plus or minus 100. Mine will be tuned down to 1250, but that's just me. And but I'm doing a tune. The most important one here is minimum octane, now, or essence. Now, here it's listed on the RSS as 87. So, a couple things on octane. Octane is a blessing, it's also a detriment. Now, on a stock machine with stock exhaust, with stock air intake, stock, if you pop this trunk and you see minimum octane 91 or 93, run it. If you see 87, I wouldn't run any more than 89. If you go to elevation, if you're traveling across the country and you're from a sea level state like California or New York, I know parts of New York aren't sea level, don't house on me, and you climb into higher elevations and you approach the 1 mile mark, 5,200 feet, whatever it is, you'll notice that you get a little pingy and weird or different or so on and so forth, because your effective octane, and in most coastal areas the minimum that you buy is 87. When you climb to higher elevations, those octanes start to act like higher octane fuels. They burn faster, they burn hotter. This is important for people that are traveling across country because you need to keep this in mind. You can save money in the mountains by only burning 89 or 87 and getting the performance of 91. Now, this is important because you hear a lot of people discuss, oh, I burn 93 all the time. That's well and fine, except for one thing. And you can, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with running high test. But they can get a little bit greedy. For some reason, I've noticed that when I run higher octane fuels than this, it eats the fuel quite a bit faster. Your fuel mileage will significantly improve, like on this machine, with its stock ratings at 87. I run 85 in this because I'm at high altitude. So, and it's equivalent to 87. That's all I ever need, and no noises on the motor. Occasionally, if I'm at a different station or a sea level station, I keep it to 87. I don't need any more than that. The major reason why is because on 87, with the performance changes that I've done, my intake, the so on and so forth, my timing, I get about 41 miles to the gallon. At sea level on 91 or 93, I get 28. So it's a difference. That's the difference that you're facing. You might be facing better performance and slightly better C to the ass feel, or a little bit more perk in the bike running at a higher octane, but you're not benefiting anything in the long run. In fact, your system comes tuned to run to the minimum octane that is listed underneath the seat. Most Can Ams run at 87. Now, if you send out your ECU to Monster Tune, they'll tell you, you now have to run high octane fuel. If you get or can acquire, and I doubt you can, a Power Commander 5, no longer made for this trike, not for this trike at least, and you run, it tells you, they encourage you to run higher octane fuel, but it's not required. The timings are changed. So when you do those performance changes, you tend to want to run the higher octane fuel because of that timing change. And with performance adapters, if you run too low, or performance changes too low of octane, you can get pingy. This bike does it for sure. So if you want to run 93 octane, I guess it's up to your wallet on a stock machine. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd see what's printed on the bottom of it, but I'm pretty sure it's an 87. You're going to see a significant change in your mileage. And the performance changes that you see for gaining to 91 or 93 octane are not going to be significant enough for you to notice. Come on. They're selling you a fuel that you think is designed to run better, when quite actively you might even actually be creating an issue, especially at altitude. So weigh your options when it comes to using different weights of fuel or octanes of fuel. For me, I recommend, especially on this trike, you stay at 87, especially at altitude. Now, because I put a Monster Tune in it on the ECU, they sent me a note that says take it to 91. So that's what runs in it now, but up until about a year ago, it's strictly around 87. No ping, it burns well, so on and so forth, and I get ridiculous mileage with the tuning performances and the correct octanes. Too high of octane can burn very quickly. To prove my point, take your average car out and fill the tank and plan a day trip. Fill it with a tank of regular and go out, and then fill it with a tank of premium and come home. See if you make it home. My money's on you don't. So that's all I got for tonight. I just wanted to express my thoughts on that. My name is Craig Cumlin. I was an active small engines. I was raised by a small engine repairman and marina owner, and started working on small engines at the tender age of 11. I rebuilt my first motorcycle at 12. So I am 55 years old, and I've been at this for well over 40 years, and I've owned well over 250 machines lifetime. So, and I don't use service centers or dealerships to repair my systems. I also own a repair shop, a hobby shop, for quite some time, but I did do some three-wheel conversions and some changes, and I did a custom bike or two from ground up. So I do have experience with this. I do have significant riding time. I'm well over 300,000 or 400,000 miles on bikes separately, and I regularly ride, and it is a religion to me. So I'm just trying to help people out with a little less experience, try to enjoy the experience more, and save a little money, a bit of money while they're doing it. Lord knows, like I like to say, Can Ams are made by BRP. BRP makes a lot of boats too. Bust out another 1,000. That definitely applies to these. And if I can help you save 50 cents on the gallon, you know, where you're not paying for premium fuel, especially these days, be sure to check your octane rating under the seat. If you're religiously using 91 or 93, you may be wasting money that you don't need to waste. And right now, with everything going on, premium diesel is starting to be more, or premium super gasoline I saw in one location on my recent trip was actually more expensive than diesel. So this fuel price situation is getting crazy. This is to help you save a little bit of dough on the way. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Peace.